All right. Hey, everybody. This is Brandon Amalani. I hope you're doing well. I'm really excited for today's conversation because, we've talked a lot about Therify in the past, and there's very few practitioners that I've spoken with that have actually used a Quantify machine in some sort of like therapeutic healing modality space. So I'm really excited to go into this conversation and to do a deep dive both on the technical side and then your subjective or objective experience in the clinical setting. So, yeah, before we jump in, why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're at, and what you do with Quantify?
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we have the health practice Antanako since 2013. And we began with body therapy because we are both body therapists, polarity therapy. But over the years, my husband is a hunter for devices and very good tuning forks and everything. So over the years, there was a lot added to the body therapy. And in 2020, we bought then the Quantify, but I think he wants to tell the story how
Yeah,
he got to know about the Quantify.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is Katharina. My name is Michael, and we are located in the southwest of Germany, which is near Basel, Switzerland, and we are living here in a more alternative area. And of course, as Katharina mentioned, I'm, a device hunter. So the point is that there are so many devices out that you can really go crazy. And I want to know which one is the most important stuff for us. So we have around 13 different devices here. And so too, I will, explain today how we can use them. Of course, the Quantiphy is the main thing. Everything
Yeah.
starts actually with this little thing. It's a pineal gland activator for the pineal gland. It's a tuning fork. So I was searching in 2019 for stuff with the tuning fork, and I saw a video, a YouTube video, with a guy from the UK having a big system on, a gong, a really big gong, and two tubes in the middle of the client. And I was so fascinated by it that I said, I have to figure that out. And finally, I found the first Quantaphi explanation and show from Paul Harris in France. This was in 2019.
Yep.
And I showed that to Katharina and said, okay, how can we test it? You wouldn't
Right.
pay for that if you don't know how it works. So I found out that there's a next station for the big one, the Therify device in Geneva. So we went there and had sessions, 2 days, two sessions, and we were glowing after that. And so we decided then to buy it in summer of 2020. And since then we operate it, I am more again still searching for devices and to do it better and better and better. And my aim here for this conversation is to tell everybody out there, if they buy the Quantify, what they can do with it.
Right.
I would say the main difference is that you can have an input. So I can, with the Flame in Mind app, can use specific frequency for specific situations.
Right.
And this is for some people strange, but the way how we see it is that we are not a doctor, so we are not a natural path. So if somebody comes with a heavy sickness, we say go to the doctor. But many times they need support from another side so that the system is stronger and can go through the sickness. And this is what we do. And so we program the Flame in Mind app. And what I found out, which is for me a big thing, is this book. I'm not sure whether you know that, the
Oh, of
Rifer
course.
Handbook.
Yeah. Classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Rifer Handbook was really a big thing for me because there was so many good advice and way how to deal with situations, and you get the proper frequency. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I have a headache or whatever you name it, um, you can use it, and also you can use it in a sense that you say, okay, there are specific frequencies you can use to strengthen certain parts of the body.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
I got a quick question for you. When being a device hunter and looking at, everything that's kind of out there and what you're choosing as like the low-hanging fruit, like the Swiss Army knife of devices, what
Mhm.
attracted you to Quantify over? Because there's a lot of different like Rife machines and frequency generators, ways to input um, any kind of modulation of frequency into any carrier signal into a plasma tube. What
Yeah,
attracted you overall to the Quantify that made you think it was kind of the most top-notch machine and so far?
good question. I would say the first thing is that we tried it out. I mean, we tried the big one, the Therify device, but
Mhm.
for us, it's, I'm a generator from the human design, and a generator needs energy. So it's running on energy. It doesn't like the situation where it's weak and tired and cannot do stuff, things like that. This is my kind of living my life. And so for me, the Quantify is really, I'm lying in the system, and I know what it is doing, and it feels so good afterwards. And finally, we both no more need glasses.
Wow, really?
Yeah, we had over the years really changes in our bodies with the eyes and also with the joints. So we use it once or twice a week. And
Oh, wow.
for me also, it is magic. When I turn it on before people come, I do it 10 or 15 minutes before because the plasma field is already there.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
they go in the room, it is magic. And I love this aesthetic part also. It's the
Mm.
plasma light. You see the plasma light, this scalar wave thing, and um, yeah, this is also something what's really important. It's not only a technique, but
Yes.
it's very beautiful, and it's
Yeah.
they really dive into a magical room, and there's some smell and the music, and it's all the
Everything
setting. That's
is
what
set
I
up.
really like also with the Quantify. I saw a lot of devices, but the Quantify uh, is very
It's
beautiful.
a magic tool.
Yeah, it's a magic tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the
Yeah.
beginning, everybody was coming. We were explaining then what the scalar wave field is and stuff like that. And after 3 years or so, we stopped that. We
Right.
say, okay, this is a battery charger for you,
Right. Yeah.
period. And then we can do stuff on top.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know people are going to just what popped into my mind and probably a lot of other people's minds when you talk about using it only a couple times a week. Were you using that throughout the duration of like how it kind of helped to heal your specific like eye condition and improved your eyesight, or was it kind of like an intensive of like several days in a row or several weeks in a row?
No.
No, I use it once, twice in a week, only 15 minutes because I'm
Wow.
pretty much sensitive. And if I do half an hour, it's in a way an overload. For other people, it's fine, they love it, and especially older folks who are exhausted or stuff like that. For them, it's better to be there in that system longer.
Yeah.
But I think it was after 3 years that we noticed that we don't need glasses anymore,
Wow.
and it wasn't on purpose. That was a
And
fun thing. It
Was very
wasn't. Yeah, it
funny.
just happened. Like, whoa, wow,
You're not
why put on
joking.
the glass? Things
wow.
like
So,
that.
and there was no dietary interventions or anything else that you
No,
were
Nothing.
incorporating,
no.
just standard. Wow.
I think the regularity,
Yeah,
we use it since 2020. It's
5 years.
been 5 years and really regular, 2 times a week or once or 2 times a week. Uh, I think this is really to stick on this and not one time and then
Yeah.
uh, in a half
Yeah,
year
every
again.
week, every
So
week,
yeah.
1 or 2 times.
Yeah. And
For
it
Yeah.
really changes something in your system, in your body, but it needs time. And that's what I always tell the people. The body is slow. Our mind is quick,
Yeah.
but most of the time. But the body needs time, really time
Yeah.
to change. Although I had joint problems, I really had pain and I couldn't walk so good. And then I did it also with my joints, and sometimes we really did it on the joint, especially left and right, the plasma tubes left, right to the joint.
Really close to the body.
Close to the body.
Yeah.
And it really helped. I have no problems with my joints.
Yeah.
So you feel that proximity makes a difference when you're treating something acute or, acute inflammation, stress on the joints, things of that nature?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
So that's blowing my mind because, I've talked to a lot of people that have the Therify. Most clinics will have the big system, which is
Of
about
course.
50 times the power of a Quantify. But this is really interesting data points because, a lot of people, when they get a Quantify, they think it's just for space conditioning and all these things. But it's really interesting to hear first person perspective, real world anecdotes of, using Quantify in a therapeutic setting for like healing. It's really quite amazing,
And
actually.
in my case, we will come to that later, but in my case, I do it remotely. They are not even here. And I have quite amazing effects on the body, on the energetic system, on the emotions. And this is, you
Wow.
don't have to be in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's chapter two. Chapter two. Now,
Chapter 2.
yeah, I go further.
Yeah, let's definitely dive into that for sure because I'm super curious. First of all, let's get into like your setup at your clinic. Like, how are you running Therify? Like, what's the setup? What does everything look like? How are you approaching using it as a healing modality on clients?
I think I should make a photo.
Oh yeah, great.
That's the room.
So that's the room. Very beautiful room, and of course, the cable is around in another room. So the
Flaming line.
amplifier is in the other room. The Quantaphi is in the other room. But this is how it looks. And in the beginning, we put a mattress down on the floor, but it doesn't look, after a while, it doesn't look very professional. But this looks really professional. It's like a massage table and,
Yeah.
a proper setting with the atmosphere and nothing in it, only little, the plant who's behind us now. So that's the setting.
Wow. So interesting. It looks like you have like Therify tube stands versus the acrylic ones that come with the Quantify. Those look different.
We bought the wooden one, it's an extra thing.
Nice. Looks great.
Yeah, it looks better than the other one, and they broke after a while, and we love this natural look.
And it's
Yeah.
nice because you don't have to worry about cables being on the floor or not, compared
Yeah.
to the
I mean,
Therify
there
where
are
you have to
cables
have
on the
everything.
floor, but
Yeah.
not so much, only one, so two or so.
But yeah, you don't
All
have to worry
right,
about the
then,
groundedness.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then it goes further. So in 2021, I bought the BioWell scan system
Yep. The
where
Curlian
you put
system.
in, it's from Russia. You put in it's a little box. You put in the finger, and you can get some results about the plasma, which is, I mean, the light is which is coming out of the fingers. And then, of course, I get some basic, how you say that, information about the client, how the situation is, and what happened after the client was in the Quantify. Of course, the BioWell was reacting in a different manner because there was more light in the system, and you can see that before and after. And then later on, since last year, now this is the latest development. I'm using a system called BioCoherence app. It's coming from France, created by Christine de Goy, Médéric de Goy. I mean, they are buddies from, Dan Winter, and they created an app which is scanning your system in a way that you can see which part of the system is very strong and which part of the system is not so strong.
Right.
And I will give some examples for that. The idea is here you can see. I mean, actually, it's a bioresonance system.
Hmm.
And here you see the liver, which is in a not so good condition. And you see all the other things which are connected to the liver. So that means I can see with the help of the system which part is weak, and the system automatically creates a list of things, of frequencies, which you can give to your client. Normally, the people are listening to it via the headphone, but we use the Quantify.
Wow. So this is
And it's very
basically,
specific.
what is it? Is it using electrodes on the body and measuring electrical impulses, or what's the
There's a little,
diagnostic
it's a
tool?
little device like this, and you put the thumb on it, and after
Can you
two
switch?
minutes,
Can you switch to your main screen so people can see that?
ah,
Like switch out of screen share mode and then yeah, there you go. Okay, cool. It's a little
that's the one.
nice.
Yeah. And it's brand new. It's on the market since December last year. And I'm working on it heavily. I mean, I make a test to myself, every day.
Mhm.
And so the idea is that if you have a client, our system is so complex, there are the meridians, there are the chakra system, there are the organs, there's your mental state, for example. There are other things like how much you can have fun or not, or whether you're in a stress mode and things like that.
Right.
So because of that, I want to make, give a little bit of example of what I have to share. So I make 5 little things. Now here you can see this is a setting where I would say this person has a lot of action today, so a lot of movement for the body. That's good. This person is straight up, so the body is in a straight line. This is a vertical balance. Has a good sleep, has enough energy, and has enough emotional balance,
Hmm.
right? Because the pedals have a meaning. If you see all pedals, it's like very good, very healthy. You can go even better, but this is really good, very, very good. And in this case, I would say I would put this person 20 minutes into the Quantify just to enhance the energy,
Right. And do you
to
see an
make this.
immediate change or is it over sessions that you start to see change with these diagnostic tools
I can make a second scan after the
after the treatment?
session. Yeah.
Nice.
But the problem is, if many people think, okay, now I do a scan, then I put the person, the client into the Quantify, and if a client comes out, I make a second scan. You can do that, but normally the body needs time to digest all that.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
energy is flying around, things like that. So in this case, I would say I wait 1 hour and do a second scan. Most of the time, then people are already out of the door, but you can do it.
Is
Now
there
here you see.
I was going to say, is there a way that you've quantified, how many sessions? Because one of the things that we get questions on all the time is,
Mhm,
if I'm going to a practitioner location and using it 2 times a week, 3 times a week, how many
mhm,
weeks would it take for my condition to improve? And of course, it doesn't work on anything specifically in the body. It creates a field effect where the body can do what it does naturally with
mhm.
lower impedance. So I was wondering, do you see these trends kind of is there a bell curve where you hit a trend where at like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks you kind of max out as far as these diagnostic tools, or what is your perception on those levels?
Very good question. I would say, it doesn't open up. Let me see. Does it open up? No, I answered the question. And I would say there, if you go from 0 to 100,
Hmm.
now, and this is your energy quantity. If you have a child, normally it's 100%.
Right,
If you have an old person over 60, over 70, it's maybe 30 to 40% or 45,
right.
50%.
Yep,
So the amount of session has to do with how old the person is and with the amount of exhaustion in the body.
yep, exactly. People get depleted for all numbers of reasons, might lose
Mm.
mitochondrial function because of inflammation or elevated cortisol, or, there's a lot of different things. So, but overall, you see general improvements over time with just
Yes.
short exposures. Are you talking, 30-minute sessions with people? When you say short versus like a younger person needs less time, older people need more time, what is the kind of spectrum there as far as treatment timing?
20 to 30 minutes I would do,
Hmm.
I would say.
Yeah, 30 minutes is
Like a
I
sweet
do
spot?
my remote healing is 30 minutes, and I experienced the minimum is 10 sessions.
Mm.
And in 10 sessions, there can be really can be a change, but it also depends how the person is working with me and with the Quantify.
Mhm.
It's not only you go in this and then it's changed everything. No, it's how I work. I also work with this emotional yeah, with a mental, emotional part. And but then it can be in 10 sessions. The amazing thing what I had was somebody who had a broken femur, and the femur was not dense enough anymore. The bones were not dense enough, and it was
Right.
really difficult. And I did 10 sessions with her remotely, and she had an X-ray before, and she had an X-ray at the end, and the density was better.
And she didn't change anything else with
No.
Only
anything.
that.
And we
That's
worked,
wild.
especially in her case, it was very, very intense because it was a past life as a slave. And in this past life, they broke her legs and her pride and everything. And that she said to me, it was the same when she went to work. She always had the feeling, I'm a slave here. So she knew that. And then we were when she got the consciousness about that. Oh wow, this is something from the past also, and then it could change.
Yeah.
And for me, it was really interesting. Remotely, you can change something physically.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would even say that Katharina is the one who can look into the energy field of a person and sees, the emotional things, the past life things, and stuff like that. And my way of because I have many people who are very exhausted, I do things like supplements and a daily protocol, give them homework,
yeah,
things like don't look at television after 11 o'clock or things like that, so that the pineal gland works proper and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
this is also part of the way how we deal with clients that they get a specific way of information. For example, I use one scan system, another one, where I have a client and I told him you're eating too many out of cans,
Mm.
canned food,
Mm.
And
Yeah.
he was, What? I said, yeah, you're eating too much. He said, how often you eat it? He said, two, 3 times in a week. And I said, stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Fresh. Well,
yeah,
that's great. That sounds like a very good yin and yang pairing,
yeah,
working on the emotional and mental and etheric side, and then
yeah,
working on the physical, like what are the patterns and structures and disciplines that we can create on a daily
yeah.
basis. It's very
yeah.
You can't
masculine, feminine
only
balance.
say use a device and everything is fine.
Yeah, it's just a tool. Like that's the thing. Like people think that
Yeah.
they can buy something or
People would love to
yeah,
have it like that,
yeah,
but it's not really working like that.
Yeah, and they
yeah,
have to take again their own responsibility for their lives,
Yeah,
This is why mostly people come to go to a healer or to a health coach. They say, okay, something I doesn't work out, the way I live my life, and I have this problem and this problem and this problem, and that's the way how we deal with them. And with the help of the scan system, I can say, okay, these are the main problems, and there are specific ways of doing it. For example, I can, with a few ways, make a meridian more powerful if the meridian is weak all
mm,
the time,
right.
and so this is even a self-help way that people can use the app and say, okay, I will only use the sound and get better, But this is another story. But this is
but
the way how I work with it,
I think in your case with the scans, people see
themselves.
what is going on with a biowell. Sometimes people look there. What I see there is exactly what I feel when they're extremely exhausted, and the biowell says not
Right.
very much energy, and so it helps sometimes people to understand the Quantify is not really um, material. It's
Mm,
very subtle.
yeah.
And
It's
when they have
potential.
this visual, the seeing, I see, I have not so much energy. I have not so much, my sleep is not so good. I can see it on the scan. It helps the people to understand.
And they
Yeah.
feel touched because they know, okay, now I know what the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Gives
the
them
bottom
direction.
line.
Yeah.
This is actually my problem, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's critical to have tools like this. Of course, the tool's not going to do the work for you. I think everybody still has to do the work. But if we can have a
Yeah.
diagnostic tool where we can kind of see
Yeah.
what direction we need to go, we can create patterns and lifestyle habits to kind of reinforce that. And ultimately, like all the mental and emotional stuff that we gather in life or come into life with, aside, we're all getting hammered by the same stuff, cell towers, toxic, environment,
All
just
over the place,
Yeah.
all
yeah.
this kind of stuff just hammers us hard. So the more voltage, the more coherent energy that we can get endogenously, so we can send cleaner signals endogenously, so the body can communicate cell to cell and on the
Yeah.
DNA level, it's with super coherent light like the Quantify produces. I think is an invaluable tool, and that's just fascinating that you're getting all these kind of results with. And normally, a lot of these results we hear with Therify, which is a much more powerful machine. So it's really cool that you can. And I want to dive into some of the other things that I originally associated with just Therify, but the non-local aspect of what you're doing. Tell me a little bit about that because it's super fascinating. Most people might think it's like super woo. They don't understand counterspatial energy, that longitudinal scalar potential is not transverse electromagnetics. There's an ether perturbation modality aspect to it. They don't understand a lot of these concepts, but from your real world experience, like what are you doing and what are you seeing as a result of that?
Yeah, I would like to start with the beginning, why I started it, because 2020, the beginning from the pandemic was, and the clients couldn't come to our practice. And I'm pretty much in contact with my soul, and the soul said to me, create a field of love and healing. And I said, okay. So I tried to start with this Quantify remotely. And I was experienced with remote healing. I did it with other methods like polarity therapy. I did it also remotely and with another tool, with the DOS system. So I knew it's working.
It
And
can work. Yeah.
I have I have a mental capacity to hold space, to really, I can feel it, that it's happening. It's not something abstract for me,
Mm-hmm.
definitely not. And then I started it and I developed an own protocol with it, just by doing it. And the protocol is so when somebody is asking for a remote healing, I need a current full body photo from him or
Mm-hmm.
her. And then I print it in a size of 15 to 20 centimeter. It has to be a bit larger, so otherwise it's too small. And then I need the healing goals. What do you want to move? And then I do make an appointment with the person, and it's for 13 minutes. And at that time, the client just lays down wherever he or she is, in a nice space and maybe some music.
Mm-hmm.
Which is in?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Auf, ne?
Sorry, he wants to open a photo. Yeah. So you see it. You see
Yeah.
the photo between the plasma tubes.
Yep.
And I asked the clients just really to open up to the healing. And then I put the photo between the plasma tubes and at mostly in the beginning, I add the frequency full body chakra cascade. I love that because
Mm-hmm.
it's really centering and balancing everything in the middle. And I sit during the sessions in another room and just go in a meditative state and connect to the information field of the person. Because I feel the Quantify is really increasing my psychic ability. It's creating a field, a healing field, a unified field. That's why I can read, feel, sense the people much better.
Right. Yep.
And then I open up to the soul of the person and ask what is important to see, to feel, to know, maybe from a past life or whatever. And I get this information through images, through words,
Mm-hmm.
and through body sensations.
Mm-hmm.
And I write all this down, and then I write these insights, I call them insights, and I send them to the client. And then it starts this awareness and consciousness process from the other side. Because the soul said, hey, there's alarm bell ringing. You need to do less stress in your life, perhaps. It was one picture in one image in one session, or whatever the soul said. So then this process begins, and it's all over all sessions. I give these insights. It's an ongoing process, healing and consciousness. It's both.
So that's cool. You're not just a passive, I run this machine and walk away and, make some
No.
No,
tea. You're actually engaged and interacting with the field. And then I assume that they understand when their session is, they're supposed to be mindful. It's not because there's some devices that, beam frequencies to your phone now, and it just happens like randomly. People don't know when it's happening. So this is very intentional where people are engaged in
it's
that.
very intentional.
Yeah.
And I just had a case where where they forgot the session. It's with a very old guy, 86-year-old guy. And I had the feeling, oh, the sessions were not really matching because they forgot.
You didn't know the date.
It works, but and today we
Right.
had a session and we both were there, and it's really amazing. It was a quote from today that he really could feel the healing at this time, and he felt very released and was dreaming of circles. That was his from an 86-year-old man who was in the beginning, I don't know. It's a bit
Is this working?
he was a bit a non-believer, but he really can feel that. And yeah, he was one part of I worked with the whole family over 3 years,
Mm.
over 2 years. It was beginning with the 11-year-old son. He had a broken tooth, and the dentist glued it, but he had pain and he was worried to lose it. And so they asked me, "Can you do a session?" And it was very nice because the parents were open. So the mother created a nice space for the son. He lay down, and the session began, and he fell asleep
Mm.
for 75 minutes.
Wow.
And the mother observed that he was twitching. He was all this time, and that fit to my perception because I had the feeling there was a lot of release of tension in the nervous system.
Right.
And at
Shifting
the end,
parasympathetic. Yeah.
and then at the end, he woke up and said to his father, "I feel light." And in his case, I gave him also an exercise because I saw his aura was there was this lapis blue color. And I gave him the exercise to imagine every evening this color around his tooth and imagine that these two parts grow together again.
Mm.
And it worked. He
Mhm.
had no problems with his tooth anymore.
Wow.
And then his father came, and I worked with him more on a physical, emotional, energetical level over 7 sessions. Very deep, very touching. And this year, so it was a over generation, first generation, second generation, and the third generation came this year. He asked for his mother. She had a knee replacement, and she didn't feel well in the hospital, and she had problems with the blood pressure and everything.
Mhm.
And in her case, it was very interesting because I work with a subtle energy, with the dragon energy. And the dragons, I ask at the beginning to clear the field, to clear the energy field, the chakras, the room. And in her case, it was so dense, I couldn't even see her because hospital is full of
energy.
fear and
Funny,
anxiety.
strange situations,
And it was very interesting. After a while,
Yeah.
when they cleared it, I could see her. I could see more her essence again, and the room were lighter. And she felt better after the session. Next day, she felt very much better. And at the end of the week, she went out of the hospital. So it's, for me, this family story is so interesting because it goes through 3 generations. And also the 86-year-old man, he belongs to this family. It worked. And it's not a question of age and not a question also of belief. The 11-year-old boy doesn't know anything about it.
Right. Exactly. Not
Most of the time
psychosomatic.
with the children, it's very easy to work because they don't have this mind structure. Oh, this can't be possible.
They
Right.
trust the system.
They just trust, but also this 86-year-old man, at the end, he really feels it, and he's trusting me now. And I really love that in this work. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess this might be an important distinction. Would you say when you're treating people, I guess locally or non-locally, one person at a time? Of course, the family shares all the same genetics. They're usually in their own field effect in their own home. If you think about it as like this interconnected, unified field, do you typically do one person at a time with the Quantify session and not try and batch a bunch of people that may or may not know each other together?
No, only one. I'm somebody who is working the best one-to-one because I really feel in this field. It makes me totally dizzy when I should feel in a larger field. And I can really, I'm good at it with the human design. I'm a projector. I can lead somebody's energy. I take him at the hand and
one-to-one.
we go through this process. And the Quantify is for me in this combination, the plasma light and the scalar waves and the healing frequencies, they act on this the energy field of the photo, and then thus on the energy field of the person, and through that on the body. This is the Quantify part. And I often, when I have somebody with cancer or whatever, I add these frequencies, these Rife frequencies, specifically. So this is the job from the Quantify. And I do my job more intuitively, and the Quantaphi is really helping me. That's why I love it, this combination so much, because it's increasing my ability to see and to feel and to sense.
And I would say one comment from a technical point of view. We had a little discussion with Ron Laplace, who's a friend of Paul Harris. And he's a guy who also has a Quantify and use it for meditation, for a group meditation, because you were just asking about what can I do if you want to do something with a group. And I think since 8 months we practice that because we offer a Quantaphi group meditation here in Freiburg locally, where people can come. And we have between 3 and 8 people.
And also remotely, people who come, who are here, and
not here,
who join us remotely. And we had one woman here, and she said she never had the experience of feeling so connected. She was completely blissed out after this meditation.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, yeah.
From this unified feeling, we are all one.
So are they joining via like a video chat like this, or are you putting
we are
a picture
sitting in the
field?
room.
Yeah.
We are sitting in the room. She was in the room. She was here in our practice, and the other remotely
in their place.
In their place. But yeah, and you feel this connection wherever they are also here in our room.
Yeah, but Ron Laplace gave us the idea, which we never thought about, that the Quantify is creating the unity field, which is the quantum field. And the quantum field is so strong in the system that the connection of Katharina's psychic abilities can connect to the quantum field of the Quantaphi and the picture. So that means, in other words, the Quantaphi is a telephone to the soul.
Yeah.
So you can name it like that. It's a telephone to the soul because it brings together in the unified field the picture, the quantum field of the client, and there's everything in it.
Yeah. Or as we found one book, when I already had this protocol, Michael found a book, she explained it, what I was doing. And she said the photo serves as an antenna in the information field
of
of the
the
client.
client. Yeah, that's important.
And this is, and they said, "Oh yeah, that's
That's
exactly what I
what we are doing, you know. And
experienced
Katharina was creating all this
on my own."
protocols and this and that and gets better and this and maybe this better it works like this and instead of that and then we found the book and we were like, yeah, that's exactly what we are doing. So other people are doing it in a different way. And this book is pretty good because it explains the process of this kind of remote healing. That's
Yeah, it's
the
really
why it's
useful.
called remote healing, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend people learn about that because we have the physics side, but then the question becomes when you're talking about counter space and space, where is the soul? And like the idea of the conjugate circuit, we have like a physicality and a non-physicality that are kind of unified like a north and south pole of the magnet. It's
Yeah.
that dance between the dielectric and the magnetic. And yeah, it's really interesting stuff. So with with all of your experience doing this for years, what are some of the most like intense or extreme or strangest experiences that you've seen with like healing and using Quantify
I
that stand
can
out?
I can offer one. We have a guy, even a friend of us. He was not really a client. You know, in the beginning, if you have these kind of tools, you say to everybody, you have to try it out. You
Yeah.
can get it for free, just for fun, you know. And so one person came in and he came out and he was like stone faced. And we were like, hey, how was it? You know, what's going on? You know, and he said, I met a being and it was part of my soul. So he met a being. He could sense it. He couldn't see it, you know, because he was not psychic, but he could see that there's a being in the room who belongs to him.
Hmm.
And he was like, you know, running out like, what the heck's going on? You know, something like that. Yeah,
It's true.
I
Yeah.
guess it's
that
possible
was a
when you're
special one.
yeah. Yeah, it's
And
possible when you're opening up portals, I guess, to kind of
Yeah.
yeah,
see
of
see
course.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Hmm.
You
Yeah.
have one?
There are
I
so many amazing stories.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
know.
know what to pick out.
Yeah, and I kind of just put you guys on the spot with that. Yeah, it's just interesting because, normally we hear about like really far out, like people leaving their body, astral projection, like beings, like weird experiences with the Therify, but I haven't, had a lot of data on the Quantify itself. Most people are just space conditioning. They're setting it up around a room just to kind of either mitigate EMFs or just feel more harmonious in their or use it as like an advanced Rife machine because Rife machines were using shortwave radio carrier signals and they were modulating it with whatever frequencies and trying to create a destructive wave interference effect.
Mhm.
But it's pretty cool because you can do the same thing with if you're using Rife frequencies for XYZ with the Therapy, you're just also getting the benefit of electrostatic field and the scalar potential and these longitudinal waves that are pretty much non-existent. I mean, with you could argue that any even shortwave radio moving through a plasma field is going to be more longitudinal, which is true. But there's definitely a distinction, especially when you have two coils that are basically interacting with each other and creating the variable phase conjugation, which is not happening in the same way on the Therify. So having experience with the Therify and the Quantify, what are the main distinctions that you see and you're feeling, and why did you choose to use more of a Quantify in a practitioner space or in a practitioner capacity versus using something that's way
I
more.
mean, if I would say it in a different way. If I would have enough money and a bigger room and a bigger apartment, of course I would have both systems.
Right.
One system really to put people into the 0 point field in a very strong 0 point
Yeah.
field,
Yeah.
where they really can, you know, get the proper treatment. It's a very strong field. And on the other hand, I want to modulate it and imagine if you come to me and I do a scan, and the scan system can identify all kinds of weak parts of you, like maybe the first chakra. For me, the first chakra is always a little bit funny, you know. Then this organ, maybe all the time this organ is a little bit, you know, and always this chakra, no, the meridian is always not so good. And then if you treat them, it's really matching because then I put them into the system for half an hour, and they get exactly the right things on all levels.
And
chakra, meridian, organ, even meridian points. If I want, I can, also treat one meridian point if needed.
And I experience it now because he's doing, of course, scans for me, and then I go with this frequencies in the Quantify, and I really have the feeling it's a difference. It's a difference than the flame in mind. It's not so specific.
Mm-hmm.
I love the for chakra cascader. There are other frequencies I really like,
Mm-hmm.
but in this case, it's just modulated to my body, to my emotional,
Particular
to
system.
my physical system. So I really love, and then I can stick even longer in it, 30, 40 minutes. And I love it. I really get so relaxed in there because
And you're talking about
it's
just running the coils only with no modulation?
with
With
modulation.
the
With
modulation.
You
Okay.
scan
the
for me
scan.
with the biocurrents.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because it's a different. Normally, I use the flame in mind,
Mm-hmm.
and now he's scanning with the
And
biocurrents.
I don't have to program. I
No,
don't have to program anything. I can even add things. I can say, okay, this time I want to treat the same person, right? But this time I don't treat the first chakra because it looks good, but this time I want to treat the gallbladder.
Right.
And then I switch it from first chakra to gallbladder. And then the person has the same treatment, but with a little bit difference.
and it feels so fitting. It's fitting to my system at this very moment. And you don't have to construct it, but it's all on a list, and it's very, I really love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really high end, I would say, because it's so specific. And then, of course, later on you can test. This is the difference because in the beginning we worked with scans, but we
Mm-hmm.
had to scan maybe 2 times in a year.
Right.
And I found something out, and we trying to get better. And next scan we are better, and then the next year we have another scan with this lady in Geneva. But with this one, every time a client comes, I can scan the person. I know, oh, this is different from last time. There's even a number, you have this is new. There's a number, you know your scale.
Yeah. So we could
Time I
say
was 48.
So we could say that, Quantify is a little bit more surgical, whereas like Therify using constructive wave interference to create charge collapse, it allows all the body and all the tissues to ring out at
Yeah.
their own natural harmonics and get those
Yeah.
microcirculation, the microcurrents going. But with
Right.
you get a similar effect to less degree of power with the Quantify. However, you can modulate it and just pinpoint certain things, certain organ systems, certain meridians, and you can, play music or run tuning fork CDs of high fidelity quality. There's a lot more modularity, I guess, you can do with a Quantify from a healing perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we have two people in Germany who uses the Therify. Only two.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And we don't know them personally, but we had a little bit of contact. But they are operating in a different area of Germany.
Well, yeah, this has been really fascinating, and that's really awesome connection for Europe to be able to come and utilize these technologies. We obviously have you guys on our website at our practitioner locator, which
Yeah.
we're actually updating our website right now. So hopefully by the end of the month or sometime in July, we'll have a brand new website with a more user-friendly interface with connecting with you guys. But tell people how they can get a hold of you and learn more in your area.
Yeah. You say your website?
He has it
He has it.
already.
Yeah, it's in the practitioner list. We are in the practitioner list already. Yeah,
Okay. So
perfect.
Germany. Yeah. So
in Germany, Southwest.
awesome. Did you guys have any other anything else you want people to know?
Oh, we're happy to connect with people who are like researchers like we are. If people have a cool tool and they try our tool, we try their tool, things like that.
Yeah,
Or,
absolutely. And
Yeah,
also,
and I would encourage people, because not everywhere is a Quantify or a Therify in every town or something, to use this really incredible technology through also remote healings.
yeah, it doesn't matter where you
That
are.
is the possibility when there is no.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think always with this technology, even this lady, Maria
Sagi.
Zagi, who created this book, Remote Healing, she's before us creating that. And now we are creating, now Katharina's creating it. And now other people are coming after us, it's getting like the tree's getting bigger, and that's our hope that other people will do the same thing.
And
Yeah.
when people are interested to buy a Quantify, because we already had these requests when were interested and they want to come, Michael can give a little technical advice, and they can just come around and we can tell a bit about our work, because it could be more in Germany.
Yeah,
There's lots of space there. So yeah, we are open to that, to really support this technology also.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what's your website? Can people book sessions through your website?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Book online. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you're anywhere in the world,
no, you
have
can
access.
Send us an email. We still have an old website. We will do a new one, but they just should send us an email. Yeah.
Both goes quick.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, wherever people are at, if they don't have a Quantify or Therify in their area, they can get remote. There's not very few practitioners that are actually doing remote sessions.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really great opportunity.
I think you have to be drawn to it. This is not something for everybody.
And you need specific skills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, great. Well, it was great to connect with you guys. Thanks for all the awesome information. I think people are really going to love learning from you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. All right. Take care.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.